is honest and somebody made a mistake, there's no problem. If somebody made a mistake and is not honest, you have to help somebody getting there. That it's already has been. Why are you coaching somebody? Why are you helping somebody at this moment? Is you want to improve somebody.
Welcome back to the 49th episode of my podcast, Science and Sports. This is the second part of a chat with a now already good friend of mine, Dennis Vollebregt. Hi, Dennis.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome back to the show. We talked already a couple of months ago after our first meeting in Stockholm. How have you been since then?
Well, when the last time when we spoke, it was still nice weather, and we're fully into the season at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
We To watch this episode, we've been talking. I was in the bus. You were just almost having a game. So
Mm-hmm.
no, everything is fine. Doing what we love to do, being on the ice almost every day, 2 games a weekend. So no, really doing well.
Yeah, the season started for both of us, I think, already for a couple of weeks. And like you said, the last time we talked was about the difference or different approaches of youth hockey across the Netherlands and across Germany. And I think also about some differences in culture and performance and stuff like that. And it was a really interesting talk. And we mentioned a little bit that we both are big supporters and big friends of the communication aspect of the game of hockey and also of other sports, obviously. So that's something I want to talk a little bit more in depth about with you today, about the relationship of the coaching team with the rest of the staff, also maybe the strength and conditioning coach, the physio, the equipment manager. They all have to be on the same page. They have to trust each other. They have to collaborate on a daily basis. So I think you probably agree with that if the team around the team isn't communicating good enough and isn't collaborating good enough, then there won't be any real success during the whole season, right?
Well, you're totally right. You're totally right. We're a team, like you say. Like you said, it's a team, and if we don't communicate and don't work together in the team, the players will feel it,
Mm-hmm.
and that needs to be 100%.
Yeah. How often do you talk with your colleagues on a daily basis?
Yeah, every day. Every day. It starts by being early at the rink.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the same at your team, but when we practice at 7 o'clock, you're at the rink at four
Mm-hmm.
ish. Um, the equipment guy starts moving in. Physio is there with a little update.
Mm-hmm.
I think we don't have a staff as you have at your club team,
We're
but
blessed. Yeah.
but with us, it's equipment, it's the physio, it's the team manager, and we are the team within the team. And
Mm-hmm.
luckily, with the national team, with my club team, they're very nice people, and everybody knows their role.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only on the professional side, but also on the in the team side, the team members. It's cool to have conversations with each other.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different view on hockey, depending on their role. But in the end, main thing is, can we be clear towards each other? Can we be honest towards each other? And when it's there, it's obviously it makes life a lot easier.
For sure. When you say you, let's say it's practice at 7, you be there at 4 or 5, is it always important to have only talks about business, about sport, about like the game we play? Or do you think it's also important to have a little chat like on the private side with all of your like partners and coaches?
Well, and players like the thing that in my current role in Heerenveen, I'm
Mm-hmm.
the assistant coach, and it starts by the relationship that I have with my colleague Mike. And luckily for me, he's the most amazing guy. And also in the off season, we talk to each other almost every day, or
Mm-hmm.
by phone, or we have a meeting and we sit down with each other, grab a sandwich or something. So it starts there. We have a good relationship and we can be honest towards each other. And we can also be angry without having to call each other an hour later, like, hey, I'm sorry for this. It's we don't have to do it because the relationship is really good. And it's the same for the players. Last night we played a game. I had a young guy. He didn't play that much. There were a couple reasons for it, but then it's my responsibility to make sure that he's ready for the upcoming game. And it starts by, setting an alarm, immediately go into the video. He is at the rink a little bit early. I can sit down with him, show him the video, but then you can have more than only a hockey conversation with him. Hey, how is
Hmm.
everything going? How's life? How's the girlfriend? And by doing that, it's not only the player who accepts me, but for me, there's also so acceptance, like, what are you doing? How's your life going? And if that's on a practice day or on a game day, doesn't really matter for me because you're there on time. You have the time to have that conversation, and then it's fine. It's not interfering his pregame routine because he's a little bit early there, and we can have that talk. So
Hmm.
no, it's big for me.
Yeah. And I think also to add on that, if you have a conversation with, let's say, a younger player, that you know what's going on in his life. Maybe he has some problems off ice, and maybe his performance lacks because of that. And you have to talk, you have to communicate with him to maybe get it out of him. And then on the other hand, he needs to also know that the coach is not just someone who has no feelings and just wants to win and win and win, that he cares about his players and that he cares about not only if they score goals or make points, that everyone is important and everyone has to be treated honest and to the best availability.
Oh, you're totally right. It's for me. It's the main thing, and I wanna look myself in the mirror before the season and after the season and know that the guys at least have the feeling that they've been treated well.
Hmm.
And um, what I mean with that is, it's easy when somebody is in a good flow. It's harder when somebody is in a bad flow. And by the beginning of the year, I have one of the players. I know him a long time because I had him when I was doing the development team. I had him with the national team. I know what this guy is able to do. He
Hmm.
makes a step into pro hockey. There are a couple things going also on in the private life. We keep talking with him, and that's also a kick in the ass. But in the end, he gets there, and he gets there because not only me, but also my colleague Mike is honest towards him. Um, Next to the kick in the ass, there's always the focus on development, giving another chance. Hey, and he's playing full time now. He's
Hmm.
doing an awesome job. And who will say that maybe in 2 or 3 weeks there will be a downfall? It's a young guy, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's our role as a coach to keep helping somebody who's in our team, who is in our family, and in good times and in hard times.
Yeah, and I mean, it's already the first step is to know as a coach that even young players, but also the older players, no one's perfect, and you can't expect from every player every day that they keep getting better and better and better and making less mistakes. You will always have a game or a practice where things don't go your way,
Yeah.
and then it's the thing about, okay, how do you act as a coach now? You should know that they don't do it because they want to do mistakes, because they
Yeah.
just happen because we're humans.
Yeah. And the funny thing is when you started, our conversation was youth hockey. But if I look at the full variety of the guys who have been coaching or coaching currently, it doesn't really matter what the age is. Like in the end, everybody is a human, and
Hmm.
especially on the sports side, like when you go to work, hey, you work at the bank, you go home, and you can hide a little bit. But with sports and especially with hockey, there's so much emotions there, and
Yeah.
hey, your performance is always It's when you make a mistake, everybody sees the mistake. When you make a great play, you're on the highlight reel. But in the end, there's a there's an ego, there's a brain you have to have to take care of. And
Yeah.
sometimes, when it's one game, it's fine. When it's two games, you start doubting yourself. And yeah, how can we help as a coach to get somebody back on track? And it's mainly for me, the focus is on during the week when you practice. We don't play a lot of games during the week, so
Mhm.
we have a nice stretch of practice moments. Hey, and maybe the conversation starts by showing a little bit of video, but mainly that's my experience. You're in a conversation with somebody, and you get away from hockey, and you start to, especially with new guys, you start to pick somebody's brain. Like, how is somebody thinking? What are somebody's routines? How do you think? Are you extrovert, introvert? And
Mhm.
that's awesome. But it all starts by really wanting to know somebody.
Yeah.
It's when you only look at it from a job perspective side, it's only an easy conversation that you have. When you're really interested in somebody, when you really care about somebody, then you start to get into the depth. And that's my thing, why I love coaching hockey. It's the 22 guys that we have. Like, I love to work for them. I
Mhm.
love to give away a free day, not being with my kids, but helping them out
Mhm.
during the season. That's where my intrinsic motivation comes from, the
Yeah.
guys.
How is your take on, because you just mentioned video, let's say after a game, or uh, other examples when like a player is not performing well enough in a game or makes a stupid penalty, for example, or clutch moment, he does something to bring your team down. How is your take on, do you confront him in front of the whole team in the locker room, or do you think it's a more better way of coaching to get them into like a four eyes talk, or also with your colleague maybe under six eyes then? Because I see a lot of coaches who really not threaten, but give the player shit in the locker room in front of the team. And I think that's also in my experience, a good coach doesn't do that. He brings him in, he talks to them in private because they know it's a dumb thing they did. What's your take on that?
Oh, I totally agree. Like, I for me it's easy because I've been having, when I was coaching our development team, I already had the mentorship of my current colleague Mike,
Hmm.
and I could pick his brain on, hey, how do I handle this situation? And from the start, when I came back to Heerenveen, because this was my hometown club as well, I I got one advice for him: starting video. And you know how much effort it costs to be good at
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
Um, now it's a lifesaver because the game goes so quick, and you can say something in the bench, and you watch video later on, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't analyze that well," or "Hey, I was totally right on that one." Um, when we were both at the IIHF conference, and Richard Kronberg had a good one there. He was like, "When I say something in the bench, I always write down the time." And I started doing that because then, hey, for example, I tell you, your forecheck wasn't right. I put on the time. When I'm doing video in the evening or the next day, I pick up those moments what I wrote down in my coach's book. And when I see the player the next day or the next practice, I always come back to them like, hey, I talked about this one in the bench. This was the reason. Or, hey, maybe I was wrong. I don't
Hmm.
care. I will tell them if I was wrong. But our main objective, to come back towards your initial question, when we do video, we have video that's pre-scout, and we have video that looks back at our last play games.
Hmm.
We look at the goals. We look at the goals against. We look at primarily our structure. Where can we improve in our structure? Where did we do a hell of a job regarding our structure? but penalties, stupid plays, that's more on the one-on-one.
Mhm.
And I really like doing it one-on-one because, in the end, you can go back to that moment and take it away. it's
Yeah.
it's it's already have been done, and the only reason we are showing it to somebody, and it doesn't matter if you're 15 or if you're 31, we want to make sure that somebody makes a better decision the next time they are on the ice. And we are in November now. We will play for the dough when playoff times is there. And all the work we spend now on the players is to make sure everybody is ready. And
Mhm.
that starts by being ready tomorrow. But we hope that when the playoff is there, everybody, is on a full 100%, knows how we want to play, and the little individual flaws that they are out of their system.
Yeah.
That's our role as a coach.
One thing you just said on the Congress in Stockholm from the coach's speech, when he said he wrote it down on the bench to remind the players or to remind him of what did happen on the game. He also said, and you just mentioned it as well, we talked about it in the beginning. The players are humans and not perfect. And the coach isn't perfect too. He
No.
makes a mistake, and I think it's also a big part of a coach to show their players that he's a good leader and a role model. If he can say in front of the team, "Hey, that's on me. Maybe we lost the game because he pulled the goalie too early. Maybe he, I don't know, got a bench penalty, whatever." But I think it's also a big part of a successful organization if the coach is also or is holding himself responsible the same way he does with his players.
Yeah.
This podcast is presented by Like Me, your partner for social media and online marketing from Weiden, and Praxis im Salzhaus, your contact for physiotherapy and health in Altenstadt.
Hey, for me, there are two things. You have to be accountable and you have to be honest.
Yeah,
And it doesn't matter if you're a player, if you're a coach, if you're the equipment guy, if you're the team manager, because in all the things we do, all our actions, just be honest. I make
yeah,
mistakes. Um, but even though I make mistakes, you can hold me accountable for something.
hmm,
And that's the biggest thing, talking also about culture. And it doesn't matter if you're with the national team or with your club team, if you coach a U13, if you coach a pro hockey team in the DEL, it all comes down to the same things. The only difference is when you're in the DEL, guys have to be it. And when you coach a U13 team, you help guys being accountable and being honest.
yeah,
And, your actions as a coach depends on how the guys will develop in that.
yeah,
Hey, and if somebody is honest and somebody made a mistake, there's no problem. If somebody made a mistake and is not honest about him, you have to help somebody getting there that it's already has been done.
yeah.
Why are you coaching somebody? Why are you helping somebody at this moment? Is you want to improve somebody.
Hmm. I think that you can break it down to being respectful towards your players because you will get it back for sure as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, or you should in best case. Then you have to be transparent. So really don't talk around because you know it from your experience when the coach is talking to a player and he's like, yeah, you played really good and you will play the next game, and then 2 days later he's cut again. Then you will a lose the trust of that player, and b it's not making a good picture in front of the whole team.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of really really interesting thoughts you shared because I think we're on the same page with that.
Hey, and the other thing is, and you got to be honest about it, but trust is earned.
Hmm.
And obviously it depends on your role in the team, but when I talk about a young guy, for example, the trust is earned at practice.
Yeah,
And you already know when somebody had a week of practice what didn't go right, or I'm tired, I don't give it my full. yeah, hey, I'm sorry, but it will be a tough one for you to play this upcoming week because in
Mhm.
the end, we play pro hockey as well. Or when we go in a national team, you only
Yeah.
have one shot at the world championship. You wanna you wanna make sure that you win.
Mhm.
And I think there's a different mindset when you play youth hockey. It's all about development, and
Yeah.
guys and,
Yeah.
and girls need to be better by playing games. But when you go to the pro hockey level with national team level, development is a big one. The other thing as well is, you gotta practice like you play the game. That's
Yeah.
how you earn the trust.
Yeah. And then at the pro level, at the end of the day, always as a coach, you want to make your players better. But if you win 10-1 or 10-0 or 1-0, that no one cares a week
No.
later. Um, but yeah, like you said, especially in the youth, you want to see a progress, even on the national team breaks, or if you have tournaments, you want to see them improving in maybe only those 4, 5, 6 days. And I think if you can achieve that in that short amount of time, that's what makes a good coach.
Yeah. Hey, and to be honest with you, also with the national team, the development doesn't start at the national team break. It starts weeks in advance with a phone call with the guys who play abroad. Hey, how's it going? Can you send me some video? The guys who are in your country, it's the
Hmm.
same. How are you feeling? How's it going at your team? Talking with the coach of that team, giving some feedback also. And it all, in my opinion, as a coach, from a coach perspective at least, it's watching a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes it's too much watching hockey, but yeah, for
well,
sure. If you want
I
to,
al- I always say to myself when we have a free night, for example, we play Saturday, Sunday, we practice during the day on Friday. It's Friday night. I tell my kids and my wife, hey, let's have a nice family evening. And then, for example, still the whole night there's a their conference on Magenta on and playing 6 games, and I see the
Mhm.
kids having fun and I'm having fun. You're like, well, one thing for sure, we love hockey.
Yeah.
I have my colleague Mike on the WhatsApp. He's watching hockey as well, and yeah, you really have to love the game, and then it's not a problem to watch so much hockey. I think if you don't watch it, you have a problem
Yeah.
because then it stays a hobby.
Yeah.
But a real professional, it's watching games, watching games, watching games, and don't watch it as a fan. But watch it as a coach. What are they doing? How are they breaking things down? What's their control breakout? What's their breakout? How they create 2-on-1s or 3-on-2s? What's their net front like? How do they
Mhm.
score goals? How they defend well? What's their PK? What's their PP? You gotta love it. You gotta love the details. And if you
Yeah,
love the details, you can help somebody.
that's true. I I mean, I heard it from you talk now, but I already know you a bit, and that you love the game, that you love to communicate, and you do on a daily basis with your coaching staff and your players. Where I want to go with the question is, do you think that after you and me met in Stockholm and we started to exchanging informations and talking about different topics and scenarios, do you think that coaches, colleagues from different clubs or different nations, even for me and you, like from Germany to the Netherlands, could share more ideas and connect more to be better coaches in general? Or do you think we're at a state where it's good already?
No, I think there's maybe 100% room for improvement. Like
Mhm.
with the national team, and it's a small amount of coaches and staff who have the ability to join a national team.
Mhm.
You at least have the world championship where you can talk with other coaches and pick their brain on stuff. Usually, at least my experience when it comes to the staff side, there's always good relationships you build on. I have a good relationship with Marco. He is coaching in Lindau, and he's the
Mhm.
coach of Croatia.
Mhm.
Like, awesome relationship. Keep in touch with each other. Um, but yeah, it's a small amount of opportunities that you have to talk to somebody during the season. It's also hard. Like, I would love to come and watch a week of practice at the team where you were working for. But,
Hmm.
the thing is, we are also busy. It's
Yeah.
at least the regular season goes to the end of February. Then the playoffs will start. So yeah, it's hard. I think that something like the IIHF conference we attended to, or the coaches site where you can see a lot of videos,
Hmm.
that helps. Um, but nothing beats just sitting in the stands, watching a practice afterwards. Have a cup of coffee with your colleagues, and hey, why
Yeah.
did you do this or why did you do that? I think that's one of the biggest advantages of coaching, to see and to talk about hockey.
It's a hard question coming up, but where do you think you could make, not you as a person, but where do you think there is room for improvement? You said there is a lot, but due to the amount of games that we all play on the weekend, we all have practice during the week and let's say one day off a week. Do you see there is a chance of it evolving in the next couple of years that you can have more talks, you have more congresses? Is there a chance you think?
Um, well, that's a hard one. I'm
Because
I'm
I
not a
think there is
full
only
time
the
coach.
months.
I'm
Sorry?
not a full time coach, so I'm working as well next to my job as a coach.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I would certainly wish that there's room for development. For me, it was the first time, for example, to go to that big seminar.
Hmm.
I would really love to go again, or from the IHF or from the coaches side. I would
Hmm.
love to attend, because it's a difference maker already for upcoming year. The
Yeah.
things that I heard, the talks that you have with colleagues, the talks that we had, for example, and a little walk around Sweden, around
Hmm.
Stockholm,
Hmm.
picking each other's brain and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish and I hope that I'm able to attend something after the season, and yet during the season, for me, a big one, and it's almost in my routine when I go to the gym, for example, is listening to podcasts, listening to your podcast, listening to other hockey related podcasts that are focused on the coaching side. You can get stuff out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of good podcasts around where you can really learn a lot, in my case, about athletics and sports science, but also a lot of good podcasts about coaching.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll put some of my favorites in the description below to all the interested listeners. I have one more question for you before we can wrap up the episode. When you as a coach are in talks with other coaches, or like you said, you would want to see a practice in our team, how big of an impact or how big of a role has it that you are going into like a new club watching a practice with an open mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you shouldn't be going.
Hmm.
Like, it's the ego needs to stay at home. And like, when you watch a different coach or a different practice, and you sit there with an idea of, hey, I know it better, why would you go? But this is not hockey related. This is like profession related. Like, why would you go in with a mindset that I know it better? Or same when I'm doing pre-scout with my colleague, we can have a look at another team, and you can have a vision like, why are they doing this? I would have done it this way or that way, or why are they really doing this? And
Hmm.
if you have that open mind, all of a sudden, oh, this coach is thinking this way and that way, and he tries to get this result. That's why he's making this strategy, or he's playing with this system. That then you can really do your job. But when the ego is in your way by thinking, hey, I can do it better, I know it better, stay home,
Hmm.
stay home, do your job for a couple years, and you probably get fired. because I don't believe in it. And maybe the older generation can get away with it because they build a big resume around it.
Yeah.
But especially, our generation, and I'm 38 now, so I still think I'm young. You know, Main thing is how can you have an open mind, and how can you get on the train of hockey, and every year hockey develops. Like, I have a whole directory with all my practices from the last years, and I can look into my practices I did 5 years ago. I'm like, what were you doing? How can you,
Mm.
or my playbook, what
Yeah.
was I thinking? But hockey goes so quick, and and the development goes quick because you have an open mind.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. That's good.
Yeah. I was interested in that because in my last episode I talked with Professor Paul Comfort from the University of Salford in England, and he's shared the idea of, or he said that it's easy to talk when you are at the elite level, but if you are at a lower level team or have a lower level budget, then you have to be creative and you have to come up with ideas or solutions on how to improve. And that's the part with the open mind, because if you think you know everything better, then go to someone who works with not as many tools as you have, for example, and you can see how creative they get and you can learn from them. And it was also a reason why I started this podcast to learn from you in this case, or from other coaches, or from other scientists or athletes, because I think you can always have at least one point out of a conversation where you can sit down and you can think afterwards, am I doing this really the right way? Can I improve? Can I make something better for my players or also in my private life, for example? So yeah, that's I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Totally agree. Hey, and even if you have the best team in the league or the best team at the World Championship, I think the biggest personal identity you can have is always keep looking over your shoulder. What can I do better? Where can I improve? Being on your toes that way keeps you on the first place as
Yeah.
well. I
100%.
don't believe in sitting back and, hey, the players have enough skills and they can figure it out. I don't believe in that. In the end,
Mhm.
it's great to have the right players on your team, but still you have to be in charge and you have to be on top of your work. And
Yeah.
that's, looking, what does the other team do? How can we play in our strength against that other team?
Mhm.
When you start slacking in it, all of a sudden you will lose games. That's the easy part with hockey.
Yeah.
Slacking is losing.
Yeah. Dennis, it was like the last time a pleasure for me to talk to you. Like I just mentioned, I learned again from you, same as the last two times we talked and saw each other. And I hope it's not the last time we both had a conversation together. And I'm looking forward for it. And thank you so much for your time. I know it was a bit short notice, but uh, like I told you before, I really like talking to you, to learn about your ideas and to pick your brain. So thank you again.
Pleasure
And
also from my side. Love doing it. Hopefully, indeed, we make a third episode. And
100%.
main thing is, I love to help as well. Creating content for other people to listen, because
Mhm.
one thing is for sure, I'm getting all the content that I can find online to get
Mhm.
better. And
Yeah,
also, it's just cool to hear from other people as well.
that's true. Dennis, thank you again. I wish you all the best. Good luck for the upcoming games. And I'll talk to you in a bit.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a rating or comment, and share it with someone who loves sports science. And for more content, follow me on Instagram at science_in_sports_. See you in the next episode.